everybody, Rich Lovell with the Baseball Barn in Vacaville, California. And yes, I still do online hitting instruction. You just have to reach out to me directly. Today I want to address something that I have been working with probably about 3 players, young guys, 9, 10 and below. So one is 9, about 10, another one's 8, and I'm working with a family with their 7-year-old right now. And it has to do with, most people refer to this as being afraid of the ball. In other words, they back up or they step in the bucket or whatever the case may be. Old school ways, they'd put stuff behind the feet and different things like that, or they'd throw balls right at the players. I suppose that works for some people. This right here is just rote memory where you're just trying to get, but to me, it doesn't address the problem. And there's a fear. And what is that fear? That they're going to get hit. First, they have to understand that the ball is going to hurt if it hits them. And I joke with them and say, your parents and coaches lie to you when they say it doesn't hurt, because it does. And then we get into, rub some dirt on it and things like that. But how I address it with 2 direct problem-solving ideas is, one, what I see very common is that most players are told to get up on the plate. And they're too close with their toes up on the line. Because when they're here, that ball looks like it's coming right at them, especially if it's on the inside part of the plate. So the first thing I do is I back them off the plate, even to the point to where maybe they're just too far away from the plate. And then we can work them back in, all right? That right there, the brain just kind of relaxes and says, okay, it's not a big deal, all right? The second thing that I'll do is I'll move them back in just a little bit, but then I'll open their stance up from anywhere from just slightly to pretty wide here. And that seems to be a trigger for the brain to say, hey, you're too far away, and their next step is they come back towards the plate. And that probably works somewhere between 75 and 80% of the time. Well, what about that other 20, 25% of the time? Extreme case that I recently worked on was a hitter that literally did this. And what I explained to him is I was going to throw one over the plate and one behind him, and then we just started working from there. Here recently, and that's probably been 3 months ago, so yes, it does take time, but here recently, I stood back at about 30, 35 feet, and I'm kind of old, so I don't throw real hard, but I was probably throwing 65, and he's hitting the ball now. Pretty fantastic. So old school stuff doesn't always work, but it doesn't always not work. And be creative in how you address some of these problems. Remember, as a hitting instructor or coach, we're problem solvers. So think outside of the box in order to help your hitters. Hope the content helped. If you have any questions or anything, leave them below. Hit the subscribe, thumbs up, like the video, notifications bell, and send me any messages if you have any questions.